YouTube channel.
It should. I don't understand. Why won't? Okay, it started now.
Way.
About time. Right. Welcome back to CTCR Tier 2, Round 10 at Hungary. I don't know why the stream didn't work for ages. We only noticed after 10 minutes. Thank you, Magnus, for telling me. I don't know why it wouldn't start. It said it had been broadcasting for 7 minutes, but it just didn't actually start anything. So, yeah, that's an odd one. But, in terms of things we've commented on, and, you know, just have gone into non-existence because of the stream just not starting, Techno Sizzle is currently on pole. Magnus is in P3 on the medium tyres. Shadow F1 is in P6.
He's not on mediums anymore.
Tyres. He's not on the medium. No, that's... His best lap was on the mediums. He's currently on soft, but his best was on the mediums. But, alright, let's find a lap to watch as... I mean, who is there to watch at the moment? The Ferrari...
And of course... Sorry, if I could interrupt.
Carry on.
Kofi is once again not here, so you are stuck with me and Owen again. 3rd week running, he's neglected his duties. But now let's go to the racing. Over to you, Owen.
Yeah, of course, we had already done that segment, but because the stream didn't start, we didn't hear it. But Lucky Nutshot, the new driver, clearly with a bit of luck there, has gone on to provisional pole up by a few milliseconds of a second. Next driver to cross the line, though, will be a very high up medium runner of 2 Magnus, now on the softs. I'm sure we can expect a good lap here from him. Of course, he won last time out, he got pole last time out. He won the first race of the season. Will he be on pole here? And he does go on to provisional pole with a 1:16.3. That's quite competitive. I'm not sure relative to Tier 1 because I've not done any practice, but it seems quite good. So, next driver to cross the line will be the Alfa Romeo of LG... No, we won't. What? Okay, I've confused myself here. It will not be Techno Sizzle. And I don't think it'll be Silky either. No, I think it will be Silky, as he comes round the final corner. It's probably YT Silk now I think of it, but coming up to the line, using all it is to fly, does improve to an 18 dead, but that is still 8 fastest, because we only have 12 drivers. Orbeng still hasn't set a lap. Don't know what's going on with him, because we missed it because we're trying to get the stream started.
We have been joined by random kitty captain though.
Have we?
Yep.
Oh yeah. So, I don't know if Orbeng is struggling to set a lap here, or just has not quite put it together yet.
Oh, we've had a spin. YT Silky had a... Ooh,
oh, he's driven into the wall there.
Ooh.
I'm sure this is an in-lap.
That hurt.
Seems his front wing has indeed detached from the nose. That is terribly unfortunate.
It's more than detached.
Yep, so, we currently have absolutely no one to watch.
I'm just watching YT Silky's very, very janky move back to the thingy. That front wing damage has not done him any good, poor fella.
I regret saying we have no one to watch because championship leader Mr. Orbeng was on a lap because he's just invalidated it. And he could actually not set a lap here. Which, I mean, that would...
to go.
With Orbeng last and Magnus on pole, and Techno Sizzle P2 man up there as well. Well, we think he's P2 man, we don't know because the standings haven't come out yet. This would be a horrific weekend for Orbeng with the only 2 people that realistically can, at any stretch of the imagination, challenge for the title, being right at the front. I think he will get out to get a lap again.
Getting into those pits, but he has 4.25 minutes to set a lap. So let's hope he can get out there and not stay in 12th place.
So at the moment, only driver on a lap is the Alfa Romeo Gaffo. I
And
believe
Ran-
the Haas of Holman, as me and God69, has had a bit of an incident. But we'll stay with Gaffo here, who's up by 0.4 of a second at the moment, which would put him very close to the guys at the front. Though he's gone very wide there, not quite sure what's happened there. But going round the final corner, will Gaffo go on to provisional pole here? Will he improve at all? He does improve by 0.3 of a second, but does not gain a position. So, I think the other car we have on the lap at the moment is the Haas of Holman, who's currently up by 0.2 of a second, which could jump him up to 6th. But after
Random
that, there's quite a large gap, unless he's got a significant gain.
Random Kitty Captain has also just embarked on their lap, following him around the 2nd or 3rd corner there, and into the 4th. That's slightly wide. As he moves into the 5th corner here, again wide, and round this corner here, round the chicane there, indeed, and then around this other sort of chicane. Oh, and he spun! Unfortunate there.
So Holman has been given a 5-place grid penalty there for a collision with Orabeng.
Oh, and he's just gone. Orabeng has just gone, invalidated his lap there.
That is an outlap, Jack.
I know. Don't bully me. I didn't read the side of the screen.
Actually, has Orabeng got damage?
He may do. This is quite...
He does! Orabeng has damage!
This is bad because he has 1 minute 50 to get a lap out.
Yeah, no, Orabeng cannot get pole now with damage front wing. He can still set a lap, he can still be maybe a good lap here. But with a damaged front wing...
there's been a spin from Holman.
I think Holman might have retired, has he?
No, he's still going.
So, people on a lap at the moment. We have, who will be the first across the line? I believe first car across the line will be, no it won't be Nicole.
Gaffo.
It will be Shadow.
Ah.
Shadow's backwards, it won't be Shadow. It will be current P3 man, previous pole sitter and race winner of Techno Sizzle. No, well, he's on an outlap, for God's sake.
Gaffo! It's going to be Gaffo!
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Gaffo.
Is it not going to be Jack LFC?
Very possibly. Where's
nope,
he?
it's going to be Gaffo.
No,
I think.
it's going to be Gaffo.
Unless, could it be Orabeng? No, it'll be Lucky Nutshot. No, it's not. He's starting a lap. It's going to be Gaffo. You were right. Gaffo's pit, for God's sake. Right, it's not going to be Gaffo.
Techno Sizzle is embarking on his lap into corner 1. That was slightly wide, but and he spun.
Well, Techno Sizzle will not be getting pole. To Magnus, current provisional pole sitter, has started his lap. First car to cross the line should be the AlphaTauri of Shadow F1, who's currently in the last corner now. Coming up to the line, he's just broke. Random Kitty Captain has come into the pits, so next car across the line is going to be Jack LFC. Coming up to the line here, he's going to do a 1:17.3. That is 7th at best for Jack LFC, and it most likely will remain in 7th. Next car to cross the line after him will be the Alfa Romeo of Nakal 1610. Currently in P4, he could very easily get pole here. We're not sure if he's up at all. No, he's invalidated. He will not be getting pole here. So, next car across the line in that case will be the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot, who in the middle sector has gone fastest of anyone. We could have a new driver and a first pole here for the Aston Martin, which would give him the illustrious 100% pole record, and he goes on to pole with a 1:16.1. Next driver across the line will be Magnus to see if he can deny him, and Magnus can't do it. He remains P2. Technosizzle has invalidated his lap. I believe he did spin on it. And Jackal FC has already finished, so that is your final qualifying grid. The Aston Martin of a lucky nutshot here, in his very first race in the league, to my knowledge, has put it on pole. And apparently, Magnus has invalidated the lap he needed for pole, so, I mean, that is just...
That is yet
tragic.
another... That is yet another charm on the string of two Magnus's unluckiness. The poor guy does not have the best of luck any time in any of these races, except from last week when he won it. But, you know. Did he win last week? Don't ask me then.
Sorry, Magnus did win last week. It was the race where he started on pole, got a 4-second lead, got a drive through, somehow won again. That one. I'm sure you remember. The one where Orbeng put it in the wall.
Oh, of course.
Yes, that one.
Is that the one where he called me a homosexual?
Yes.
Ah.
So, your final grid is Lucky Nutshot on pole for the first time ever, to Magnus in second, and Technosizzle in third. I don't have time to do the rest of that, I completely forgot. Ah, well. Jack, that's your fault, you just completely distracted me there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can't believe you do this.
I'm such a bad person.
I know, it's unforgivable, really.
I don't know how to live with myself.
What is unforgivable is the fact that I'm currently sat on a chair that's sort of... Like, you know when, like... This is a very specific example, but you spill a cup of tea on a chair, you wipe it, and then, like, you dry the chair, except the chair's still sort of slightly wet, and after 10 minutes you've just been sat on that chair that's a little bit wet.
Are you asking for a friend, or is that just a random, very specific example you thought of?
I'm not sat on a chair that's covered in tea.
Never.
I don't know what you're on about.
Never knew. Oh, the pit crews are all in one another.
That's, hopefully the new game won't have stuff like that. So, and we are being shown the predicted pit stop strategy here. That is a rare graphic. You only get it on a lucky day, and it's already gone away before we could read it. So, the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot, starting on provisional pole here. Of course, the formation lap isn't starting, and I'm a bit concerned, I've got to be honest.
Is this us, or has it actually started and we're just special? Oh. There it goes.
I think it's starting now. Okay, the formation lap has finally started. So, the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot, I say again, to my knowledge, he's never been here before. In all honesty, I have no clue. He could have been a previous champion for all I know in Tier 2, but in my time here, I've never seen him before. To Magnus, last time's race winner, and I believe when the standings actually bother to come out, he is closest to challenging for the championship. Technosizzle is also the other person who is close to Orbeng, albeit Orbeng is very far ahead, but Orbeng is also last, as he wasn't able to set a time in qualifying after that incident with Hallman that gave him damage. Bit of a scruffy qualifying from Orbeng, and it could give Magnus the perfect chance to take the lead in the championship here.
Indeed.
Well, no, it won't, because Orbeng's too far away. But
if I could give a quick comment on the tyres, we have a majority.
Right, I have to invite Jackal FC. 1 second.
Yeah, we have a majority of the mediums, but we also have 3 hards, that being Orbeng, 2 Magnus, and Shadow F1, which I think is interesting because hards were not suggested as a starting tyre on the graphic. So we'll see how they turn out. But as we're coming into the grid here, I should probably stop talking about tyres and wait for Owen to get back so we can do the little, starting thing.
Right.
Over to you.
So, as we come to the grid, I can't find a way to spectate someone from the front, so it seems we're looking from behind here.
I'm at the front. I can comment it.
Nice. And I'm sure the game will show me in a second once the lights start to go on. So, it is 3, 4, and 5 lights here, and it is lights out away we go, but nothing has happened because the lights are still broken. And finally, we do now get underway with the map's not turning off. I think very good start from Magnus there, and he's got alongside going into turn 1 ahead of Lucky Nutshot, I think it was. I've already forgotten his name. Magnus on the hard tyres as well, so that start is actually really good. Along just behind him, Techno Sizzle has also got ahead of the pole sitter there. Not a brilliant start from him, with especially Magnus getting ahead on the hard tyres. And behind, we don't seem to have much else fighting, as that Aston Martin there, which one was that? Was that Orabeng?
Orabeng is, as he spun.
Orabeng has gone into the wall. Is that no front wing there? The championship leader has just binned it. Now, it does seem that we've had 2 disqualifications. I think that was for disconnecting on the formation lap. Unfortunately, nothing that can be done about that.
And
but
as we know from the answers,
you can carry on, sorry.
And as we know from last week, there was a bit of a hoo-ha over connection, and it is their fault. They cannot rejoin.
So in the background, we've had a spinner of the AlphaTauri of Shadow F1 who has managed to end up behind Orabeng, who binned it. Although Orabeng will have to pit for a new front wing now. So he's really disadvantaged here. But as it stands, Magnus leads from Techno Sizzle very close behind here. Of course, Techno Sizzle is at the moment on the faster tyre, so you can expect him to certainly put Magnus under pressure. We don't know if he'll get past. But Orabeng has in fact gone into the pit lane for a front wing change here. But we've got a really close race up front, as let's turn on the telemetry and lap data, because I forgot to do that. Techno Sizzle is right on the rear wing of Magnus, as the Haas of Holman, our completely unbiased favourite, has picked up a 3-second time penalty. And is also being passed by me and God69 here, as they were side by side in the middle sector. Does seem like it's cleared up a bit now.
The 3 lead cars are all extremely close to one another, so
top 5 really.
Yeah, so it could turn out to be quite an exciting first few laps before everything settles out.
The Aston Martin of Mr. Orabeng, championship leader, has retired from the race.
Oh, sweet Jesus and Mary.
This has put Magnus and Techno Sizzle in a brilliant position. I mean, yeah. They can't. Is this a safety car or a VSC? So there's a virtual safety car at the moment. This doesn't really do anything, just slows everyone down a little bit.
We had a bit of a... My game's glitching because I thought Magnus was spinning out then.
Oh.
So that's why I made that noise.
Is it back to normal now?
Yeah.
Okay.
The gap between Techno Sizzle and 2 Magnus is now enlarging.
Yeah, it's a VSC, it'll neutralise-ish. I mean, it could change. Oh yeah, Jack, do you even know what a VSC is?
Virtual safety car?
No, but I mean like what it actually is, not what it stands for.
Makes people slow down.
So pretty much, they're given like a delta time. And you have to, like, it's basically a set lap time, like, they have to go, I think it's 40% slower, but it's somewhat up to you where you go faster and where you go slower. So Holman, oh no! Holman's picks up a drive-through for speeding under the VSC. So yeah, that's my point. If you go a bit too fast for too long, you get a drive-through. You can kind of choose where you use the speed. Yeah, the VSC now has ended. Magnus has got a good getaway. He remains in the lead, but Technosizzle really quick on the straight here with DRS and does get alongside into turn 1. But good defending from Magnus there. Can't fault him at all. That was perfect really. And Technosizzle can't really do anything about it. So as it stands, Magnus does remain in the lead. In the background, it doesn't seem like we've got much fighting going on.
It's getting quite interesting. With, as I said, the gap between two Magnus, Technosizzle and Lucky Nutshot is extremely tight. Just none of them have been able to slip in front of Magnus, which, to be fair, shows his proficiency as a driver.
It must be said, the two Alfa Romeos are also right there as well.
You are correct, you are correct. Me and God69 is lacking behind them slightly, but he's still in view. He could gain on them at some point if they all have a bit of a rubbish corner.
We've had a spinner with the Merc of Random Kit Captain, who is backwards in the middle sector there.
Is he going to persist, or is he going to give up? That's the question.
This is a very odd race here, because we've got 5 drivers all within each other's DRS, then me and God69 who's just a little bit further back, and then everyone else is in a bit of no man's land here. And right here, I've just completely ignored it despite looking at it, Technosizzle is alongside, and he's going to take the lead here, I think. But Magnus is going to keep it stuck round the outside here. Will he be able to... Bit of desync there actually. That desync has slightly pushed him back into the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot. But Technosizzle on the faster medium tyres has got into the lead.
He is really going for those top points here. He knows
that is what they're all doing, but yes.
He knows... Oh, don't patronise me, Owen. He knows that now Oribeng's gone. He has an opportunity, a window of opportunity, to take that top spot and gain valuable points to crawl his way upwards towards Oribeng on that championship standing.
I mean, this is the worst case scenario for Oribeng here, because the 2 people that actually have a good chance of challenging him are currently 1st and 2nd. It could not be worse. So.
And as they're coming into the 6th lap there, Technosizzle has set the fastest lap with 2 Magnus just behind him, Lucky Nutshot just behind him, and the 2 Alfa Romeos of LG Gaffo and Cal 1610 just behind them as well.
It must be said, Magnus is... He's just about hanging on here though. I don't know how long he'll be able to keep DRS for. If he does lose it, that'll put him under a lot more pressure from the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot. But we still have a really close top 5 here. This is actually one of the best races I think we've ever seen, just because of how close it is so far. I think I'm going to turn off that telemetry there, it's getting a bit in the way. But as it stands, Magnus on the hard tyres is still just about sticking with the McLaren of Technosizzle. Of course, if he does lose that DRS, Lucky Nutshot is going to fly past straight away here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But
he's gaining on him around that corner.
I mean, these top 5 are still...
Either way.
The problem here is, as long as Magnus has DRS, none of the cars behind will ever be able to overtake. It's just... At this kind of track, it's basically like Monaco without the walls. It's not really possible. So Magnus, this lap is still just, I mean, comfortably ahead. I think we might have quite a bit of this race now, where not much is happening just because of how difficult it is to overtake around Hungary. Because despite Magnus being on those hard tyres, which are slower, without Magnus losing DRS, Lucky Nutshot is just, it's going to be impossible. So Magnus is very close to potentially losing DRS here.
He is dropping back further and further from Techno Sizzle. He's just finally hit that 1 second gap, and we're gonna have to see how it progresses, because if he loses his DRS, then he is going to drop well behind Lucky Nutshot.
But it seems that here, Magnus, he might lose it, he might just about keep it by a few milliseconds here. Or he might have just, did he just drop it? I think he might have just dropped out of DRS by 1 millisecond or just gained it. Magnus has lost DRS here. So, despite that,
Lucky Nutshot he was gaining.
no, he can't get past, he's too far back now. But Magnus, despite losing DRS, did actually gain a massive amount of time there on Techno Sizzle.
This is true. Which is, again, just a sign of his proficiency as a driver.
I think it is safe to say the medium tyres might just about be starting to go off here. Because
that was a good choice of hards there for Team Magnus.
Yeah, I mean, it's my personal preference to start on the hards. I can understand why he did it, and it seems to be working here, because after just 8 laps, he's only 6 tenths off the lead, right where he started, and in a very good position. Of course, at the end of the race, everyone around him will be on the slower hard tyres, and he'll potentially be on the lead in the mediums. He'll be in a great position.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't know if rain is a possibility.
This is true. I mean, the skies are quite bright. Not really a cloud to be seen, but I don't know if clouds come in games as a sign of the rain to come. But we shall see.
Well, in terms of this game, you'll basically have... It'll probably go very, very overcast about a lap before, and then the rain will just magically appear. It will be possible to tell. You definitely won't see the clouds moving in, I don't think.
Right.
So, yeah, as it stands, I mean, being Hungary, we've got a really close race up front, but no one is able to do anything. Maybe someone will take a gamble on strategy, go for quite an early undercut. I can see Gaffo doing that in 5th there with a massive gap behind him. He's not got much to lose at the moment, and he does seem to have very good pace. He's really putting the pressure on his Alfa Romeo teammate of Nakal 1610 here. Of course, Gaffo isn't a full-time driver anymore. Despite being quite high up in the championship, he has become a reserve driver to focus on something else. I don't know what could possibly be more important than CTCR Tier 2 racing. But
I think him and Kofi might be able to have a lovely chat about that.
Well, yes, because I wonder where Kofi is right now. It's just so difficult to guess. As it stands though, still nothing is happening. No one can get past in this DRS here. Magnus isn't losing it. Techno Sizzle isn't losing it. Let's actually have a cheeky look at their ERS here with the telemetry. So Magnus has actually used quite a bit here, I think, to try and stay in Techno Sizzle's DRS.
So Owen, could you just explain to me what is a DRS train?
So a DRS train is basically, because DRS, the whole idea of it is the car behind gets it to aid in overtaking. A DRS train is basically when a lot of cars are within a second of each other, and they all end up... Have we had a spinner?
Not that
Oh, it was a lapped car. It was random kitty captain while he was lapped. So basically a DRS train is when you have lots of cars all with DRS on each other following one car, and because they all have DRS, no one can get past anyone.
Right. Thank you for explaining.
They're kind of all just sort of pulling each other along to, like, there'll always be one driver up the front who is put under threat from being overtaken, but then like the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th driver in the train just can't do anything about it. As we see here, actually, Magnus has dropped out of the DRS of Techno Sizzle, but as always with Hungary, after turn 1, that second straight just isn't long enough for DRS to mean anything.
Yeah.
What is important to note is, Orobeng, despite having DNF'd, he is in P10. Now that would usually award a point, but as far as I'm aware, because he only completed about 2 laps, he didn't complete the mandatory distance to be awarded points, so Orobeng will get awarded none, I think. I'm not completely sure on that. You know what, let's have a look at the standings in this, I'd say, dry patch. We're probably going to get some racing just here. But, as it stands, I'm not sure on Techno-Sizzle's points. Magnus, I'm fairly sure, is on 94 points. If he wins this race, he'll still be about 30 points off Orobeng. So, that's actually still a massive gap, no matter what he does.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how much of an advantage Orobeng had.
I think 2 Magnus is back in the DRS zone of Techno-Sizzle. Yeah.
Yep, he is. I mean, at this point in the race, the mediums will definitely be beginning to wear a bit. Let's see if I can see someone's sector time. No, there's no really respective ones here. So, Techno-Sizzle does still have a good advantage out front. Let's just have a look at his ERS, give us some perspective. Magnus is actually still using quite a bit of ERS. He's down to 10% here, with Techno-Sizzle has been on 40 for absolutely ages. I mean, he's just keeping it at a nice, relatively even number. But as it stands, still nothing is happening. I mean, Magnus. Yep, for the Williams of me and God 69. I mean, he's near no one. He's in no man's land practically.
We have got sort of a radio message there from Mr. Orobeng, who said it was a crash and that he's not that bad that he would just retire in lap 2.
I think he means. I think what's happened with Orobeng is, I mean, I can't say because I don't know exactly, but I think he might have crashed on just the cold tyres after he came out the pits.
Yeah.
I mean, that's completely understandable. Hungary's an absolute nightmare with cold tyres. Because recently we had in the 6 hours of Spa a load of cold tyres incidents with, I think it was Antonio Fuoco and Brendan Hartley, both very good drivers, who crashed because that series decided to just remove tyre warmers, and Orobeng has now confirmed it was cold tyres. I mean, you can't blame him completely. No matter how good you are, cold tyres just... You can't...
It kills you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
we've
mean,
had a spin there from me and God69, who...
Oh, Shadow F1 has retired here.
It might have been Shadow F1 that spun then. I'm just a bit silly.
Oh wait, we have some racing here. No, we don't. Magnus is ahead. Will, though, Lucky Nutshot get a good exit here? Nope. No, he didn't. So, as it stands, nothing still happens, but actually, something is happening because the Alfa Romeo of LG Gaffo there has gone down the inside on his teammate. A bit of contact between the Alfa Romeos, and he's been spun round. The one time there was racing, I managed to miss it. God's sake.
Holman has gained another penalty. He has gained a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits.
Well, at least someone has pit. And soon, Jack, I'm sure we'll approach your favourite tyre time. It's not quite there yet, but we're getting close.
We are indeed getting close. I have forgot the jingle, so I won't be doing that this week. It's doubtful anyone could hear it anyway. You know, I did my little dee on the piano.
Oh yeah.
but I've forgotten how to play it, so it's good to have a verbal jingle this week.
But as it stands, Magnus is actually under a bit of pressure here from Lucky Nutshot. You'd think after 15 laps the hards might have gotten better compared to the mediums, but it doesn't seem that way, as Magnus has gone quite deep on the brakes there, and Lucky Nutshot could get a very good I mean, Magnus has got a brilliant exit there compared to Lucky Nutshot. I'm not sure what's caused that, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that was quite good. I can't say much about that. As Nikal 1610. Sorry, I'm really tired. Nikal 1610 picks up a 3-second time penalty, which all but puts the two Alfa Romeos now completely out of contention, having, well, taken each other a bit out of the race here. So, as it stands, the only race we seem to have here is between the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot, the Red Bull of 2 Magnus, and the McLaren of Technosizzle.
Oh, we are going to be approaching pit time soon enough, so we will be able to have a quick gander at the tyres. But so far it's been quite boring. We've only had mediums and hards. Oh, Lucky Nutshot is pitting.
Oh, we have a gambler. Of course, I don't think it's much of a gamble because I think this is the lap he's meant to pit on. But this does induce, Jack, your favourite time.
Doodly doo. Well, let's wait and see what he equips.
It'll be hards. It's very much a... There's one strategy here. Nothing else works.
I'll wait until someone else pits, because at the moment it's a bit one-sided.
Well, we had Hallman pit.
That's
me
true.
and God69 also pit.
So that's pushed Lucky Nutshot, the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot, into 5th place, with the 2 Alfa Romeos taking 3rd and 4th spot. There's a massive gap there between me and God69 and Lucky Nutshot, but then also there's a massive gap between Lucky Nutshot and LG Gaffo. So we'll see how this pans out, shall we, Owen?
Yep, so I mean, it'll be interesting to see if Technosizzle reacts it, because without a doubt Lucky Nutshot, I mean, there was about a 2.3 second gap, I think, and Technosizzle is going to come into the pits here on lap 16, so Magnus will take the lead. We can't expect him in until about lap 20, I'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll go longer, hope for a safety car, though with this few cars in the race and the cars so far spaced out from each other, I really doubt that's going to happen. But the 2 Alfa Romeos have also chosen to stay out, which is a bit of a questionable decision. Because
those mediums are really going to be wearing out now.
yeah, and they can't both pit this lap either, because that gap is probably still a bit close for a double stack pit stop. Gaffo would get held a bit.
But I think now, Owen, it's time. It's time for a doodly doo tyre time.
I mean, we've got nothing else to talk about. Have your tyre time.
So welcome to Doodly Doo Tyre Time, everybody. We have well, not almost an even split, but we have 3 on hards and 5 on mediums. Those mediums are going to be wearing out just about now, but those have just got those cold tyres on are going to be struggling for a lap or for a while until they can get those tyres nice and toasty. Like poor Mr. Orabeng, who got some fresh tyres on and had quite a ferocious spin or crash or whatever he did. But we shall see how it turns out. And LG Gaffo has just overtaken his teammate, Nikal 1610, who has pit and is equipping the soft tyre.
What?
Wamp, wamp,
why has he done
wamp.
that? He can't make the end. What? That's surely a mistake.
I'm thinking he's probably going for the speed and the power that you can get with those soft tyres. He's going to want to be a speed demon.
Now, Jack, I have to say, there's only one possible reason I can think he'd go onto softs here.
Go. What is it?
that means that he doesn't think he's going to have to stay on these tyres for very long. Because I think we might have rain coming.
Womp womp.
I mean, why else would he go on such a short lifespan tyre?
This is very true.
I think we could have some rain arriving in this race here.
I mean, don't call me Owain Wyn Evans, but I think it's looking a bit overcast, if you know what I mean.
It does.
No one's going to know who Owain Wyn Evans is.
And that could put Magnus in a brilliant position, because he might be able to get those hard tyres to when it starts to rain.
Oh, this is now getting quite exciting. With Mother Nature getting involved in the race, she is obviously a McLaren fan and wants Technotizzle to retake the top spot. But that's not going to happen because Nicar 1610 is the guy on the softs, and he knows he might have to switch.
Those soft tyres, though, I mean, it's a brilliant call if rain is coming, which, I mean, it is beginning to look a bit more overcast. But they might not even be very quick before then. Because those softs really do overheat here, even on minimum tyre pressures. Nikal might struggle here. But it could be an absolute masterclass from him, assuming it is going to rain, which I really hope it does. Otherwise, it's probably just a mistake. Hopefully it's not, but this is the most excitement we're ever going to have in an 8-car race, when at one point we had 20. So,
this is really getting quite intense now. I can see these clouds getting darker and darker by the second. That might just be me creating things, but they do look to be getting darker.
That might be the most interesting tyre time thing we've now ever had.
Every tyre time's interesting knowing.
Yeah, but this one was exciting.
This is exciting. Nicar 1610 has not managed to regain any of his lost places, but I think we will be getting a pit from Gaffo fairly soon.
Interestingly, Gaffo, I don't think he's going to pit at all. I think he's going to try and get those really old medium tyres to the start of the rain here.
And then he's going to switch into his wets. That is...
Well, inters, but yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Unless it does go full wet very quick. It's unlikely, but... I mean... I really hope it rains. I don't see why else we'd have Nakal on the softs and potentially Gaffo staying out 20 laps on mediums at a track where the tyre wear really is horrific.
Yeah, he is, of course. Nicar 1610, if he's predicted that the rain's going to start, we will have to be calling him Jesus from now on. So that would be some excellent prediction from Nicar 1610 there. But no, I've not seen any rain as of yet, but the clouds are getting darker.
They indeed are, as that lap Magnus did a 1 minute 21.5. Now we'll see what Technosizzle does here, because he still is closing in quite quick. Technosizzle 1:19.6, that is some 1.9 seconds faster. So Technosizzle does have really good pace here, and he's going to catch Magnus quite quickly. If Magnus was to pit now, he'd probably be 5th.
Oh, definitely.
So he really does need that rain to come, and I would say it is getting darker.
It is getting darker by the second.
Can see a few grey clouds up there. And I mean, this could be a really exciting end to this race here.
It could indeed. LG Gaffo on those mediums is really going to be open to this rain. It gets here soon so that he can get those old mediums switched out for some new inters. But these clouds are getting darker and darker and darker.
Yep, so I mean, this is quite exciting here. And amongst all of this, the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot is closing in on Technosizzle as well.
It's really heating up here as we start to get closer to what we think is rain.
Of course, while it is heating up, the track temperature is probably cooling down.
That's true.
Of course, Magnus is still out front, does lead by only, well, I say only, 12 seconds, but if everyone else has to pit again for Inters, that is a massive gap he's pulled out here.
We have unleashed the commentator's curse onto this race by my saying that it's not going to rain because it's sunny. And now this has happened.
We unleash some form of the commentator's curse every single race without fail.
That's very true.
We've never not done it. Like that.
Okay.
Sorry.
The clouds are getting darker. Carry on.
I was going to say, like that one time, a certain Tier 1 Imola race on lap 24 of 33, I was running in 3rd place, and Gaffo said the top 3 are probably going to stay the same for the rest of this race. Moments later, and I'm talking like probably 3 seconds after he said it, I put it in a wall, I DNF'd.
He didn't know it.
Indirectly because of that, Kofi also died. He was 2nd.
Sorry to interrupt. I just have seen rain. We have rain.
Oh, yeah, and Technosizzle has got past Gaffo in the background there. So Gaffo's strategy kind of working, but also not, as he now side by side with the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot, who sends one down the inside.
Who has had a pit. Oh no, that's sorry.
And now Gaffo has lost 3 positions in 2 corners there. Well, kind of 3 corners actually.
As this rain sets in now, I'm assuming Gaffo is going to be getting into that pit and switching those tyres out.
I haven't seen a raindrop just yet though.
I have. If you watch closely, there are raindrops. Just look.
Oh yeah, me and God69 is pit for Inters. This must be rain. Of course, I think that's a bit too early for the Inters here.
This is the first time in the whole of tyre time history that we have seen Inters. This is an exciting moment.
Is it?
Yeah, this is because we've had sun every single race.
Didn't we have rain at Spa?
No. You might have in your Tier 1, but we didn't have it here.
No, we didn't have rain there. Where did we have rain? Oh, we had rain at Silverstone. That was the most recent race Kofi did bother to do.
That was before tyre time was.
Oh wait, Lucky Nutshot and LG Gaffo have both come into the pit lane for the intermediate tyres. I feel like it might still be a bit earlier, but
it's better to be prepared though, Owen, as that rain is getting more persistent. But Nakar 1610 on his softs has taken the 3rd spot.
It really does not look like Inters are the right choice at the moment. We'll change to the leader now.
It is spitting and spatting at the moment.
So Lucky Nutshot is gaining time on Magnus, but only a few milliseconds. And he's just lost a few attempts there, so... I mean, it's still staying around the same. I don't know if it's quite ready for Inters yet. I can't see any rain at all.
I can. If you go on TV Repod, you'll be able to see it.
No, I really can't.
I definitely
Oh no,
can.
yeah, I can see just sort of like very tiny drips, yeah.
It's getting heavier. And that's Nakar 1610 pitting here, I'm assuming to switch over to the intermediates.
Yep, so Lucky Nutshot and Gaffo
inside one another.
Lucky Nutshot and Gaffo have only gained a couple of tenths of a second. I think Gaffo has lost time to Magnus. DRS though has now been disabled. That is the sign, most of the time, that it's now into conditions.
And the rain is getting heavier and heavier. This feels like a weather report now.
So, interestingly, Nakal 1610 has jumped Lucky Nutshot in the pits by staying out. So that has worked brilliantly for the Alfa Romeo driver. Of course, he does have a 3-second time penalty. But we could potentially see Nakal jumping Technosizzle as well here, as the track... Well, it doesn't look like Inters for me at all. The track condition seems quite good.
our hard players are going to find it very tricky if this rain starts to get heavier than it already is. So they are. It's going to be quite a swift overtake if this starts to.
So Magnus has now come into the pits for the first time in this race for the intermediate
And so was
tyres.
Techno's result. That was commentator's curse. That was the perfect example.
Yep. So Magnus does only have a 7-second advantage. It's still quite a bit. Unless he makes a mistake, he's in a great position. But yeah, the question is really, will Technosizzle be ahead of Nakal 1610 here? He won't.
No.
Nakal has got past here in the pit stop phase, and the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot is right on the rear wing of Technosizzle.
It really
Nakal
is.
1610 has got the strategy perfect here, with that short stint on the softs. I mean, you can't fault him. That was a genius idea.
That was the most exciting moment in the history of all tyre times.
Of course, Magnus does have a massive advantage out front, but it's still possible. Maybe he could make a mistake. Nakal could just be incredible. Of course, he does have a penalty, so he needs to get 8 seconds on him, but there's nothing to say Magnus can't also get a penalty.
And if Magnus could well have a bit of a mare, you can never tell. He might just completely fly off the rails.
Of course,
Probably won't, because he's a good driver, but you know.
speaking of flying off the rails, Lucky Nutshot went very wide there in that turn, which I don't know the name of. I mean, no one knows the names of anything at Hungary, really. It's not particularly memorable.
Imre Nagy.
I mean, speaking of, I probably should be revising for that test. I've not done any history in about 4 weeks.
Well, that does not bode well for the oncoming GCSEs.
I don't much care, to be honest. Like, I'll get the 9 in physics, I'll get the 9 in maths. Everything else, like, as long as it's a 6.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the race. Technosizzle is really, well, he was gaining on Nakal 1610. Seems he's not anymore.
And we now have absolutely no drivers within a second of each other. So it does not look like we're going to have much in the rest of this race. So we have a yellow flag in Sector 2, and Gaffo has absolutely binned it there. And that is a full safety car. So that is going to completely rid Magnus of the advantage that he built up through staying out, starting on the hard tyres. That'll ruin the drivers with penalties. That is, I mean, yeah, that's not good at all.
Conditions are also getting rougher and rougher.
That does though mean... That does mean... Now, we'll have a bunched up pack, and we will have, opposed to no one being within a second of each other, everyone being in about 2 seconds of one person. Now that sounds exciting to me, except of course random Kitty Captain, because he is in, I mean, not even a different postcode.
He's in a different country.
Yeah, I mean, he's practically, I don't know, what's nearby, Jack?
To Magnus.
I meant a country.
Romania?
Yep. Random Kitty Captain has taken a trip to Romania. Of course, I'm sure I'd be much happy there than he would be a lap down here.
Who is Random Kitty Captain sat behind there?
The House of Holman.
Oh, that looks too short a gap.
Yeah, that's because he's a lap behind Holman.
Oh.
I think Holman's just missed the pits there.
Holman's a lap behind everyone else as well.
No, Holman's on the
he's
same.
drifting in.
Yeah, Holman is on the correct lap. Random Kitty Captain is very much not. Random Kitty Captain still hasn't passed Gaffo's dead body. Yeah, he's having a horrific race. Like, for reference, Magnus is on lap 28. He's almost starting lap 29. Random Kitty Captain, even under the safety car, is halfway through 27. It's not been a great race for him. And he has just now passed Gaffo.
When is this safety car going to leave us?
Probably this lap. Almost certain this lap.
To Magnus getting those tyres toasty, or alternatively paving the way for his own death. If he's not careful.
Could you take over for a second, please?
Yeah. It is getting very bunched up at the front there. Extremely bunched up. And if Nicole 16 gets a good start after this safety car, he could well take the top spot off to Magnus, who is of course one of the main contenders for the championship. And as we move towards lap 30, it's looking more and more probable that we are going to have quite intense racing for the last 5 laps. There's our 7 remaining drivers start to begin to start after the safety car leaves us in a few minutes.
So, before the safety car will surely come in this lap, I feel it is important to announce the title of the Imola GP this year, which I think is the next GP. Jack, are you ready for this brilliant title? It's not the Imola Grand Prix. It is the Formula 1 Qatar Airways Gran Premio del Made in Italy del Emilia Romagna 2023.
That is exciting.
What happened to, good old Italian
The
Grand
Imola
Prix,
Grand
San Marino Grand Prix? I mean, it's a big title.
It seems that they wanted to make themselves look more important, sound more important, so they've gone, how can we make this sound cooler? I know, add 70 more words to the title.
I've sent it to you so you can see it in words. There's a lot of words.
This safety car will not go.
It will be in this lap, I think. It should be. Very disappointing if it isn't. So, as it stands, we can't even fill the time with tyre time because everyone's on exactly the same tyre, unless you really want to go into detail, Jack, of how many laps old those tyres are. I'm guessing not. Or would you like to try?
I can give it a go if you need some space filler.
Why not?
Welcome back to Tyre Time, everybody, where we have all-round intermediate tyres. Holman and Nicole 16 were the first to equip their tyres, and they are on 5 laps each, with being closely followed by 2 Magnus and Techno Sizzle and Random Kitty Captain, all on 4 laps. The remaining 2 drivers, Lucky Nutshot and me and God 69, both got 2 laps on their tyres. So Holman 69 and Nicole 16 are going to be getting some tyre wear at some point before everybody else. Back to you in the studio.
Yep, so the safety car is going to finally come in this lap, as Random Kitty Captain has finally caught up to the safety car. Albeit he's still a lap behind the next car. Maybe he can unlap himself. That would be an achievement. So, here, round the final corner, to Magnus seemed to have gone a bit early there. I think he might have caught Nakal lacking there. Magnus there with a brilliant restart. And in the background, we have Techno Sizzle is really under pressure from Lucky Nutshot and me and God69 Looks there like Techno Sizzle's going to go down the inside, try and retain position. Bit of contact there on the exit and a bit of wheel spin for Techno Sizzle, but he does retain P3. And that's probably the race sorted there. No, it's not, because Lucky Nutshot is going to potentially go for a switchback here. No, he's not. He's kind of... Yep, I mean, will he go for it in this corner? It would be suicide, I think. Yep, he thinks better of it. As in the background, me and God69 has a little bit of a wiggle there. But he seems to be all good under pressure at the moment from the Haas of Holman. Out front, Magnus has retained the lead so far from Nakal 1610. Of course, if Nakal 1610 does overtake, Magnus would still win because of Nakal's penalty. Though we can't rule out the possibility of a Magnus penalty as well. Is there any racing in the background though? Techno Sizzle is still really under pressure from the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot here. And me and God69 also is very close behind them. And the Haas of Holman is really late on the brakes there, nearly going around the outside of me and God69.
It's all really bunched up now as we move into lap 32. Me and God69 and Holman are both following closely behind the Aston Martin of Lucky Nutshot, with random kitty captain almost just a lap behind everybody else, which is quite a sad eventuality for him.
So as it stands...
Actually, no, I apologise, random kitty captain is on the same lap as them.
I don't believe he is.
It says here for me that he is on lap 32.
Is he?
That's what it's saying for me.
I think that's overall. Is he?
It's not changed for me. Oh no, no, it's not changed for me.
I think random kitty captain's delta might have broken. He might actually be on the lead lap here, so I apologise for the abuse. Yeah, that seems to have broken at some point. I'm very sorry about that. As it stands though, we have a couple of people within a second of each other, that being the McLaren of Techno Sizzle, who's really under pressure here. Of course, being one of just 3 cars without a penalty, and one of them might be a lap down, we don't know. He's not under much pressure. It should be relatively easy. I think his main goal at the moment is not even staying ahead of Lucky Nutshot, it's just keeping within that 3-second zone of the Alfa Romeo of Nakal 1610, and not getting a 3-second penalty himself.
This is very, very true.
So, as it stands, the only real battle on track is between Techno Sizzle and Lucky Nutshot. Holman is putting a little bit of pressure on me and God69, but I think he might have made a mistake there. Of course, both those drivers having 6 seconds of penalties.
The gaps are really starting to widen now after that safety car. They did bunch up for quite a while, but they are starting to push away from one another. But Lucky Nutshot is staying within the DRS of Techno Sizzle, within 1 second of him. And he keeps getting closer and closer, but then he push back. It's really frustrating situation there for Lucky Nutshot.
Yeah, I mean, I really doubt we'll see any overtakes towards the end of this race. It's a horrific track for overtaking in the dry, but in the wet, when DRS is disabled and the grip is really low, it's probably going to be even worse.
Oh, it's going to be murder.
Yeah, we can't expect much to happen here, really. So, I mean, the way you're looking at it now, the final order completely depends on if anyone gets a penalty. And even then, it'll probably stay the same.
Now, as we move into the penultimate lap, this is probably going to be the standings for the rest of the race. Well, you know, minus penalties. But Techno Sizzle will just be aiming to stay within those 3 seconds of the car 1610, because if he can do that, he can take the second spot, and we will have our 2 main contenders against Mr. Warabeng being in first and second place.
Which, I mean, I'd say it's the worst nightmare of Warabeng, but he still has quite a big advantage out front. It's very much possible for Magnus and Techno Sizzle to win this. They are the only real people who can win this, I think, other than Arabeng.
We
But
have another
really,
time penalty there for Lucky Nut Shot. Sorry.
that has, yeah, I think at this point, the top 3 won't change now. It's completely if Techno Sizzle can get past Nakal on track or not. But as it stands, with the penalties that have now been awarded, your top 3 is Magnus gonna win from Techno Sizzle and Nakal in second. And we may as well just call it there.
Hallman has also just gained another 3-second penalty. So I think this is how it's going to finish.
Yeah, I don't see anything changing.
As we move into the final lap here, it's going to be a very standard final lap. Nothing too exciting going on. The wet conditions have made it too horrific.
I mean, yeah, we didn't have much overtaking in the first place, but the racing was very close. But now it's just sort of become a bit of a stalemate, really. Not much to happen, but Magnus and Techno Sizzle are certainly reigniting their championship challenges here. So, in terms of the championship, it's a crucial race, this. In terms of the actual race itself, certainly on the boring side. I mean, with only 12 starters, only 7 finishers, of course someone could still bin it. There's not much space for them to, but it's always possible. I think though, really, we've just got to look for Magnus. He started second in this race. He saw that rain was going to come and he started on the hards. He got those hards right up to the rain, and he did a very good job about it. After that, he came out of the rain with a 7-second lead, one which he maintained to about 5 seconds. There was a safety car that closed up the whole pack, but Magnus, through that, has pulled away from it with a 3-second gap. He didn't pick up a penalty. We don't even know if he's got a warning. But through here, in Hungary, round the last corner, to Magnus is going to reignite his championship challenge, winning from second place, which may or may not be exactly what I predicted to do. Nakal 1610 is going to finish second on track, but Techno Sizzle will go up to second. I said on track, Jack. Techno Sizzle is going to be up to second because of that penalty. And that is your podium.
Thank you, Owen. That was exciting.
No,
we do have to commend the driving from the car 1610 with his excellent pit stop strategy with those soft tyres. That was genius.
Yeah, that was, I mean, not quite as good as Magnus is starting on the hards, but from the mediums, I think that's the best thing he could have done there.
Yep.
I've accidentally skipped the podium, but that is unfortunate. So, your final running order is to Magnus, who wins from second place, exactly what I predicted he was going to do to him. Techno Sizzle from second goes up to third, and the Nakal 1610 finishes. No, I said that wrong. Techno Sizzle is second, and the Nakal 1610, after finishing second on track, is down to third with his penalty, but does have the fastest lap for some consolation, and the knowledge that he had a superb strategy. Lucky Nutshot, in his very first race in the league from pole, finishes in fourth with some penalties. Me and God69 in fifth, and Holman, the absolute best driver ever, is in sixth. Random Kitty Captain finished a lap down in P7. And then the non-finishers, with, well, most of the people in this race in fact, was LG Gaffo, Shadow, Orbeng, the championship leader, Jack LFC, who was disqualified through absolutely no fault of his own, and YT Silky, who was disqualified through absolutely no fault of his own for the same reason. That has been round 10 of Tier 2, and we will see you next week.
Goodbye.
Oh, I clicked the wrong button again.